Welcome to Too Many Tabs, a podcast where a husband and wife duo sit across from each other at a desk. That's right. If you ran all of these intros back to back to back, you would notice that they're the same every single time, but this time is different. How is this time different? Because this time I'm going to actually explain to you what this podcast is about. You see, on this podcast, one of the member of this married pair does research on a topic. They collect all that information. They click on all the hyperlinks. They open up so many different tabs, and then they take those tabs and they slowly put them together into a document. What does that document do? That document becomes this podcast. That podcast is that marital partner reading that document back to their spouse as their spouse reacts in live time.
Yep.
And that is designed in a way that will fit advertising perfectly in between the breaks. Unless you're a Patreon member, in which case you will only get advertising if I forget to cut it out. So with that, Mrs. P, are you ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
I think I'm ready too for Too Many Tabs.
Too many frauds and too many scammers that we wish weren't real. Too many cons and too many spammers, and we're starting to feel like we've got too many tabs open. It's too many tabs. Remember to smile.
We're back here. We're back here for another episode.
Listen,
It's a barn burner.
we're in the final countdown of this year.
We are in the final countdown of not only this year, but also of season 2 of Too Many
I
Tabs.
can't believe it.
It's been a full season.
I cannot fucking believe we did a whole second season.
It's
And
crazy.
then we sit down generally and talk about a season 3.
I know, and we're really looking at a lot of different ideas for what season
We
3
got
is
a
going to look
lot
like.
of ideas.
Season 1,
Thoughts.
for those of you guys who don't know, season 1, a lot of experimentation. The
Yeah.
show originally was called Pearlmania 500.
Uh-huh.
Somebody pointed out that, hey, you can't find that because if you type in Pearlmania 500, just you show up.
Yeah, just you.
They're like, you
yelling.
should probably come up with a different name. So we came up with Too Many Tabs.
Yeah.
A lot of assistance there.
Mm-hmm.
And I've since been told that there is a German podcast called Too Many Tabs.
Well,
Sucks to be German. Anyway, we're...
what's their podcast about?
It's,
Don't answer it.
Listen, it's about how they can't get a good bagel. Now,
Whoa.
this podcast, though, has been doing gangbusters.
Yeah.
We've been having such a good time, and just we love not only our fan base, but the listeners so much because our podcast has this cool thing where people are like, oh, I just found your podcast. I'm listening to it. I'm like, oh, cool. What do you think of the most recent episode? They're like, I'm 2 years back.
Yeah,
And
it's so funny because people inbox me and be like, I just listened to your Hilaria Baldwin episode. And I'm like, number one, I know it's crazy because she has a fake tum-tum.
Yeah.
Number two, I don't remember anything we said. Tell me everything.
And then meanwhile, I'm over here like, we were using a Blue Snowball plug-in USB mic. That's before the board. So there's a couple things we're gonna do. Is we're gonna do this episode, and then next week you have a
book club.
a book club episode.
Yep.
I know it feels like book club on book club, but this is special
this
Christmas
is a
book club.
literary podcast. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but it's
just
a book,
happened that way.
It's a Christmas book club because
Wait, you're telling them the secrets about the Christmas book club?
no, I'm not telling them all the secrets. I'm just saying it's Christmas.
Christmas book club.
Okay, calm down. Now, with that being said, we have decided, and kind of in general, we started last year, but it's kind of what we're going to stick with.
Yeah.
Typically, after the 15th, we're going to take a break. We're going to take a little breaky.
Holiday break.
It's a combination. It's our kid's birthday.
Yerp.
It's the holidays.
Yerp.
People are in and out, but we don't want to leave you guys hanging. So what we're going to do is we are going to go find 2 of our favorite episodes. Maybe from season 1, maybe from season 2. We're going to look through and kind of pick one, and we're going to re-upload them.
Yeah.
Maybe with a new intro. But that'll be kind of like our little breaky.
Yeah,
and
we're
what
gonna
we want you guys to do during that time, or even when you're listening to this podcast right now, this is the call to action section, just so you guys know.
Oh, we've been told we need to do a call to
Yeah,
action.
call to action.
We are bad about it, apparently.
Yeah, and by the way, if you're wondering who we keep referencing is who we have been telling us, it's George Soros. It's George Soros and Elon Musk at the same time.
They have our number, and we've been calling.
But basically, if you could review, comment, anything, engage.
Leave a comment on YouTube.
Yeah.
Subscribe. Ring the bell.
Ring that bell icon.
Leave a 5-star review on Spotify or iTunes.
Yeah, or an Apple Podcast, wherever you listen. Just because the more you tell the algorithms, and the more you tell our great overlords that are the tech bros that now actually own our government, the more you tell them
Who are
that you.
super cool and have a lot of hair and big penises.
They're-
I've been saying that.
Listen,
I've been saying that.
I just want to say, Jeff Bezos, very virile,
very handsome man.
not divorced at all. Now, Elon Musk, I want to just say, never went to Turkey.
Yeah.
He never went to Turkey.
Never did.
Genetically superior to everyone else because look at his hairline. It's so natural.
It's so good looking.
Now, please, give us a like, give us a subscribe, or wherever you listen to podcasts, all those different things. Obviously, to the Patreon members, you guys keep doing what you're gonna do. This is for all the.
Hey,
yeah.
You ready to get in this episode?
I am ready to get in this episode.
Do we have anything else on our little opening list?
No. One last thing I'd like to say. I got picked up for a show where I might be recording a mini special.
Oh yeah.
For doing stand up. I'm gonna be opening for my friend Doogie Horner in Philadelphia at Underground Arts. I'll put the
legendary.
link.
Let me tell you something about Doogie Horner. When Alex and I first met, he was a stand-up comedian.
Yep.
And I got introduced to many of the comedians of the Philadelphia and New York area. And when I saw Doogie Horner, I said, I know that guy. I've seen that guy on the TV.
Yeah.
And you were like, what? Because he was on America's Got Talent.
Yes.
And it was the most Philly fucking thing I'd ever seen. I was like, Doogie Horner, which, again, if you look up his comedy, he has this little squeaky nerd voice. It's so funny. And he got up on America's Got Talent and he was bombing. He was not doing well. He was crashing out, as the kids say these days. And the crowd started booing him.
Yes.
And that does not happen in comedy very often.
It also doesn't happen to Doogie. Like, Doogie is a very, very, very good comedian.
Funny.
And he has a very special, like, type of way.
Yeah,
he sounds like, hi, I'm Doogie Horner.
So his name matches his voice for sure.
Completely.
And, but so he started fighting the crowd.
Yes.
And he fought the crowd so hard that he brought them back around. And by the end, they were all laughing and he got a standing ovation at the end.
Yes.
It was incredible. And
Yeah.
so when I've met so many of your comedian friends when we first started dating, I was like, that guy's a scumbag. That guy's not allowed in our house. That guy's weird. That guy's funny. I like that guy. And then you're like, I hate that guy. And then I met Doogie and I was like, I know that guy. He told the crowd to fuck off. I love that.
Yeah. And that was from like 2010.
Yeah.
So it's 14 years later. Doogie Horner's recording another album.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, do you want to open for me? And I said, yeah, sure. So I'm going to be doing like a 20, 25-minute set. And since they're already going to have all the recording equipment set up, we might record it.
That sounds cool.
So there might be like a weird little fun special.
I might be able to see your comedy.
You
What?
might actually be able to hear the jokes that are about
me.
about your medical situation.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to do just 25 minutes on your C-section.
I mean, it kills. It crushes.
It really.
It crushes.
No, here's the good news is that it didn't kill because that is a reference in the set. But anyway, for those of you guys who heard me do stand up, that was all very funny to you. For those who haven't, come and check out. And to everyone else, we're still trying to figure out what we are going to do for next year.
We're coming up with plans. We got ideas.
We're coming up with a lot of plans. So with that, this has been our longest intro in a while.
Yeah, well, the people need it.
People needed it. You know what? We're all going to stretch a little bit. Let's take a big stretch. And then we're going to take a little break. Because then we are going to come back and we're going to do this episode, which is on
Caroline Calloway.
I still don't know who that is.
I know.
We're back. Here we are.
We're here. You ready?
Let's just get right into it because that intro was super long.
So, listen, here's what happened. I've been thinking about, I love a closer. We talk about this in comedy. We talk about this in books. You know, I love a closer. Yeah. And I was thinking when we were talking about how we might bring some of our favorite episodes and pull them up for December while we go on our break. Some of my favorite episodes are the OG internet gossip drama lore.
Yeah.
Scamorama ding dongs.
Like Hilaria Baldwin.
Like Hilaria Baldwin. One of my faves. Fake tummy. Hilarious. Yeah. So I was thinking about deep internet lore. And someone popped in my mind, and we'll get into how she got there. Okay. And this woman is named Caroline Calloway. Okay. And I knew, because I said it out loud, and you looked at me like I said a whole different language, and I said, there's no way you don't know who she is.
I'm going to tell you right now, every time you say her name, Caroline Calloway, first thing I think is Cab Calloway. Okay. An amazing musician from back in like the 30s. Incredible.
No, not that.
I know there's no relation there.
No.
Because she already feels like a white devil.
Yep. Okay.
Okay. And number two, I think of Callaway Golf Clubs.
Okay. I don't know what that is.
Exactly.
Sure.
White devilry.
Okay.
So she might be related there. But that's where I feel where my brain is with this.
Okay. So Caroline Calloway is internet famous in the deep niches of what is probably, if I was going to look at gender, ladies. The gals know about this lore. Okay. There's a high percentage they know.
So this is a female focused lore.
It's very specific and niche. Okay. But it's so weird. And it lives in a little slice of my brain because, again, during this time period where this was all happening, I wasn't of the internet. I think I might have just gotten an Instagram, like a personal Instagram.
Okay.
And that was back when we were still putting filters on food. You know what I mean? Or like we were at night.
Like Instagram didn't have video.
Yeah. Like it was like a picture of me dancing at the Barbary. Yeah. Right? And like it was all filters and like it was that. Okay. And so this is drama I knew about.
You knew about this back then?
Yes.
This still got to you?
Yeah.
Okay. That's crazy. Yeah. Because you're talking about like 2011, 2010. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And like you, around then, I would come to you with being like, I saw this thing on the internet. And you're like, fuck the internet. We're out here eating food. We're going outside.
I'm going to go ride my bike
Have you ever heard of apple picking, bitch?
I don't know if I went apple picking.
You took me apple picking.
I did?
Yeah, I hated it.
Oh, that's right.
We nearly broke up.
Yeah, you did.
Because I was like, this is fucking stupid.
I think every adventure we went on in the beginning of our relationship, we almost broke up.
Yeah.
Because you were like, oh, I hate this.
Yeah, and then one day I was like, oh, you're right. I should just enjoy this. Or like, just just shut up.
Just shut up about it. I'm not going to stop.
No, you didn't. And then the thing is like actually over time, once I gave in, then you just were like, well, now it's not fun.
Just like that guitar.
Yeah. Once I was like, I actually enjoy it a little bit.
They're like, well, never mind. It's not fun.
Listen, and I know it's like a trope for men to hate apple picking. Yeah. I feel like it's a trope. Yeah. Because it is. It's just like, it just drives, like, I don't mind going to a farm. Yeah. I don't mind going to an orchard. Mm-hmm. But like the idea that this is somehow like getting 15 pounds of apples for $75 when I know.
When I did the labor?
Yeah, first thing, I did the labor. But then the second thing, though, is like, I know our household. Like, I know our apple intake. Like, we can't have more
heavy apple intake.
Listen, we actually do have a heavy apple intake comparatively. And by we, I mean you. I have like one a month. But like you don't, like, more than 6 is crazy. Yeah. So to have like all these apples that are ripe, that aren't going to sit, they're not going to keep, we're not going to can
apple
them.
Butter, gotta make some apple pie.
That's what I'm saying is like you immediately have to convert all these things. I'm like, we don't have to do any of this.
You're like,
we live in a global economy right now.
Right now. So anyway,
now.
Who is Caroline Calloway?
Who is she?
Okay. So Caroline Calloway grew up in Virginia. She describes herself.
I don't like her just from that.
Okay. People in Virginia are very nice.
Someone from Virginia stole my bong when I was in college, and I've never forgiven the entire state of Virginia for it. And he was from Charlottesville, Virginia. Yeah, that's right. That Charlottesville. The one that brought us the Dave Matthews Band. I know most people, when they think Charlottesville, they think of Nazis with tiki torches. Not me. I think of a guy who really likes the fucking Dave Matthews Band who stole my fucking bong when I lived in college.
All right. So her real name is Caroline Gottschall.
Calloway's not even her real last name?
So it's her last name, but her I think her last name was Gottschall, and she changed it to Calloway. Okay. It's Gottschall.
Okay.
So she decided she wanted Calloway because she felt it would look better on book covers someday.
She wants to be an author.
She wants to be an author.
Okay.
A writer. So
do we know what type of writer she wants to be, or she just wants to be a writer?
She just wants to be a writer. And she changed her name at 17.
Oh, wow.
So she knew out the gate.
Okay.
She's like, I need
So she's always been annoying.
Yeah.
Because like 17 is a wild time to do that. I mean, like that's just like crazy. 18, I'd be like, all right, fine. But like 17, I'm like, you did paperwork.
It's a lot of paperwork.
That's a lot of paperwork.
So here's the thing. Caroline Calloway is at her core a white gal on Instagram. She's just a pretty blondish white girl on Instagram. Okay. And that's basically the whole thing. What also she is a bit of a scammer.
She's a scammer?
A bit of a liar, maybe.
Do I hit the allegedly button?
No, you don't have to. So the thing is, in 2015, she had, or 2012, let's start 2012. She had a lot of Instagram followers, right? Okay. For then. Yeah. For 2012.
Yeah, like, that's back when like having like 50,000 Instagram followers, people were like, you're a god.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the thing is, she acknowledged, maybe she didn't. Again, she is such a pathological liar that she acknowledged, but then she didn't. You know what I mean? That she bought her first 40,000 followers for $4.99.
Oh.
So like she was big, but she was also buying Instagram followers.
You know who that reminds me of? Newt Gingrich.
What?
Do you know who Newt Gingrich is?
No, I mean, I know who he is.
Yeah, former Speaker of the House from like the 90s and led the Clinton impeachment.
Okay.
Newt Gingrich, when he was on Twitter, it was like, this was again, this is around the same time as Caroline Calloway.
Okay.
Newt Gingrich was caught buying followers because people were like, your follower to engagement count is crazy broken.
Yeah.
It's crazy because it's like he had like 200,000 or whatever. I don't know the exact number. But he had like a shit ton of followers on Twitter.
Yeah.
But then like his tweets were getting like 5 likes.
Yeah.
They're like, that just doesn't happen.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
So Caroline's a student at NYU.
Okay.
And so she's in NYU. She's changed her name. She wants to be an author. And she started this Instagram account and she wants to get followers because she has this idea in her head that if she can get enough followers, she can get a book deal. If she can become enough famous on Instagram, she can get a book deal.
Okay, so she's ahead of the curve.
She's way ahead of the fucking curve.
Yeah.
She's ahead of the curve so much you could buy followers and they wouldn't know. Because there was nothing tracking it the way it does now.
Yeah. Because I actually get a thing all the time when I open up my Instagram. I'll check my followers, and it'll actually be like, "Hey, just so you know, there's like 900 bots trying to follow you. Do you want to hit this button and delete them?" And I'm like, I hit delete.
Yeah, hit that.
And then, or it'll tell me like, "Hey, a bunch of these accounts have been abandoned. Oh, you're about to see your numbers go down." Like it tells me now.
Yeah.
It's like we know these aren't
companies
people.
that would, let's say, publish a book.
Yeah.
They look at engagement versus followers.
Yeah.
And also you can look on the back end and see what a purchase looks like because it goes from like 50,000 to 100,000. If they all follow in one day, they know it's bots.
Yeah, it's
and so
not
people
a natural
look at that
algorithm.
kind of stuff now.
Yeah, and that's
but
actually
back then in 2012 they didn't.
No, exactly, and that's actually a big thing because again, when we're in like when I'm doing short form videos on Instagram or on TikTok, and I do a brand deal, they always talk about. I'm always like, well, my followers are here, so I guess that's going to mean this. Like, no. It's your consistency on how much engagement you get.
Yeah.
So if you make a post and you have 3 million followers, but your post is only seen by fucking 15 people, why the fuck are they going to pay for that?
Yeah, they're not.
And so exactly, yeah. But
so
back
this is
then,
all before then. She is ahead of the curve. She has this idea that if she can get a popular social media, she can get a book deal.
Yep.
And she is way ahead of it, right?
Yeah.
So she pours all this effort into her Instagram to try to get this book deal. Her first post was on June 5th of 2012. She mostly posts about traveling and doing fun things, and she created a hashtag, which was #AdventureGrams. Okay, #AdventureGrams.
She created #AdventureGrams.
She created #AdventureGrams.
That's so cool. This is only 12 years ago.
Yeah.
And we're talking about inventing the #AdventureGrams.
Yeah.
We've lived so long.
We've been alive for too long.
We've been alive for
on the internet.
I cannot stress to you. I've been reading more and more about like older times and like reading more into that stuff. And it was like, yeah, and then there's nothing happened for 6 months.
What was that like?
Oh God, you fucks.
Can you imagine?
Ugh.
So,
then they invented time.
So after she was at NYU and she decides to leave NYU and goes to Cambridge in England. She gets into Cambridge.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay.
I thought you were going to say Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Nope.
She goes across the pond.
She has an idea in her mind that American women and girls would love to watch the adventures of a young woman in the storied halls of England's oldest institution. After all, she had grown up obsessed with Harry Potter, and she knew many Americans loved learning about British culture. So she decides she's going to go to Cambridge.
I'm already mad. Hold on. Just time out. I'm already mad.
Yeah.
Just give me a minute.
Okay.
You got to give me a minute.
I'm
here.
giving you time.
I'm so mad because the first thing, the line of she grew up with Harry Potter, and we're talking about 2012. I just want to let you guys know I didn't know about Harry Potter until I was an adult working at a Borders Books.
Yeah.
I was working at a bookstore, and I think like the second or third book was just coming out.
Yeah.
And they were like, it's the second or third book. I was like, okay, whatever. What is this shit? And like I just had no context for it. I didn't care. And I was like, all right, fine, whatever gets people reading.
Yeah.
But just the line, like now when somebody, in the 2020s, when people are like, yeah, I grew up with Harry Potter. I'm like, sure, okay, yeah, that's fine. But the fact is in 2012, I'm just like, I grew up with Harry Potter.
Yeah. But also she's so right.
Yeah, she's completely right. She's 100%
There was an obsession specifically in 2012 with that aesthetic.
Yeah.
And like, so she...
I remember people having the Harry Potter, the thing with you where you chase the golden thing.
Snitch.
The golden snitch.
Stitch?
Yeah, yeah. What's the umbrella? Not the umbrella game. The fucking, the broom game.
I don't know.
With the snitch. They run around.
I know,
Quidditch.
Quidditch, okay.
I remember people playing Quidditch in Philadelphia wearing scarves.
Oh, no.
Like in public parks.
Oh, God.
And I remember standing there and I was hammered. I was so drunk. and I was there with like another comedian, and I saw it, and they were like, "We should make fun of this," and I was like, "Why?" And they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "Don't engage with this. We're just gonna walk away."
They're just having their own.
They're
time.
happy. It's fine.
Yeah.
But like, also, let's just ignore this and it'll go away. And then you know what happened? J.K. Rowling bought a castle full of mold and it turfed her brain.
It turfed her brain. Mold will do that. Get your mold checked out.
Yep, get your mold checked.
So real quick, can we take a break?
We barely said anything.
I know. Well, we had a really long opening.
Okay.
So I need to take a break because I need to pull up her Instagram and so I can show you some pictures.
Okay. We'll take a break and then when we come right back, we'll go into that.
Yeah.
When it comes to phone service, Mint Mobile has hit the jackpot. Save tons of money with premium wireless that only costs $15 a month. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text. It's all delivered in the nation's largest 5G network, too.
Yeah, my dad and brother both use Mint Mobile, and they both love it.
Yeah. It's been pretty great. And honestly,
they've had it for years.
And from what they told us about it, I've actually been looking at it because I've been very unhappy with our current provider and what they're paying. I don't want to say their name. But I'm actually getting very close to trying this out myself. So keep your same phone. Keep your same number and keep all of your contacts. The only thing that's going to change is the extra money in your pocket. To get this new customer offer and your new 3-month premium wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/tabs. That's mintmobile.com/TABS to cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/tabs. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to a $15 a month plan. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details. We're back.
Okay, so I want to show you some pictures of what she's posting on Instagram at Cambridge. Okay. So this is some highlight reels. So you can see he's showing the iPad to the camera.
Show the iPad to the camera.
So you can see it's like her out front of, British estates, her at parties.
Yeah. It's very just, you know what? It's giving me Emily in Paris, except it's Cambridge.
She invented Emily in Paris.
Okay.
She was the one that came up with that.
Gotcha. And then she has British boys in bow ties. Yeah. I'm assuming they're British boys because, yeah. And then those like Venice down here in the corner. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very much that Instagram. This is just girl abroad
Instagram.
Yep.
Now she set herself apart from the other gals on Instagram because she would write these really detailed and intimate captions. Okay.
She's using that writer credit.
Exactly. So this is a beginning because this is like this much long. I'm not going to read the whole thing.
Oh my God.
But so I'm going to read you just the beginning. Much like ring pops and disposable razors, memories deteriorate with use. According to a study by Northwestern University, every time we access a memory, we tamper with it, editing the past with our feelings in the present. Or to put it like this, the only way to preserve our most precious memories is to forget them. And then it goes on to talk about her memories at Cambridge, this guy named Josh,
She writes like Sex in the City.
Yes, she writes like Carrie Bradshaw.
That is 100% a Carrie Bradshaw opening.
Yep.
Memories are like ring pops or disposable razors. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
So, but people loved it. Advantagram.
That is the most surface level garbage I've ever heard.
The teen girls loved it.
I understand that. No, I understand. I understand that there's a market for this. I can also make fun of it. You're getting mad. I can see you getting mad because you liked it.
I didn't like it.
You did? No, you loved it. Memories are like ring pops.
Oh my God.
At the baseline is plastic.
So she also bought ads.
Okay.
And promoted all of her posts. And the ads were super cheap back then. And so she targeted almost every post towards users that followed Harry Potter or YA novel fan accounts.
She's a genius.
And it worked.
Of course.
And by 2015, she had more than 500,000 followers.
Okay.
Which is a ton.
Yeah.
Considering she bought the baseline of 40K, everything else she's making is because she's actually just really popular at this point.
Well, at this point, it makes sense, right? So if I got an ad, and every now and then I'll get an ad for somebody, because I've seen this especially on TikTok, where somebody will promote a horrible TikTok. And it's like just to get more people to like look at their page.
Yeah.
But then you go to their page, I'm like, you have 6 followers.
Yep.
Like you have no natural base whatsoever. So when people saw her and they're like Harry Potter fan, they went and they already saw that she had 44,000 and like 100 likes. They're like, oh, this must be a pretty big page.
Yeah.
People assume celebrity because you put on the air as a celebrity.
So she quickly fashioned herself as, quote, the Gatsby of Cambridge.
I hate her.
She was a party girl and introduced her followers to her new life by writing, "Welcome to Cambridge, Instagram. It's time to party like it's Downton Abbey seasons 1 through 4. And ain't nothing, not even World War I or Lady Mary's attitude problem. It's going to rain on our Insta parade. Today begins an exciting new chapter of collegiate adventure sausage, one filled with Harry Potter-like castles, Jane Austen-like balls, and very mixed references of pop culture." She says that she doubled down on her Americanism, and she wrote that she would use very British style images on purpose, obviously.
Yeah.
And she hosted parties at Manners. She also was known to like break into parties. Like she didn't do any schoolwork is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, she's a party crasher.
She's a party crasher. She's meeting as many people as she can. The whole thing though, this whole Cambridge storyline she built is what you would call House of Cards, because she got into Cambridge, but she wasn't really there. You know what I mean? She wasn't really in school.
Yeah.
Also, she had forged her school transcripts.
What?
To get into Cambridge.
Because I was still stuck on how good she is at SEO.
Yeah.
That was the thing, is her search engine optimization to target as many people as possible with that awful fucking piece of copy you just read me.
Yeah.
Was so crazy by saying like, just like Downton Abbey seasons 1 through 3. I'm like, because I think they're probably right around when Downton season 4 was going in.
Yeah.
All that different stuff. And then you're just like, by the way, she forged her transcript. Like, girl.
Yep.
Because today she would just be a social media marketing major, and she'd be killing it.
Crushing it.
Oh my God.
So she forged her school transcripts.
Much like Kanye, she was just 2 years too early with her thoughts.
No, not like Kanye. Whoa. She changed a D+ in ancient Greek to an A-. This is a quote from her book. "That class was at the same time Andy and I had a free period during which he liked to fuck me on his top bunk.
What?
I began photoshopping my Exeter transcript. It was difficult with the complex visual watermark, but I'm an art historian and an artist."
Wait, she admitted it?
Yeah.
What? This feels like, again, okay. Again, we're now here in 2024, looking back on, but the point is this, like 2015?
2015, yeah.
Looking back 9 years, and now, because of people like Caroline Calloway, like you can't get away with it this easily.
Yeah.
But like there was a time where you're like, oh, fuck. Anytime you look back a decade, you're like, it was so much easier
It was
back
so
then.
much easier back then.
She was like, it had a complex watermark. Oh, you bitch. But also, like, that's the other thing, too. Like, with transcript being sent, I feel like it's office to office.
Yeah.
Like, it shouldn't have come from, like, where's it coming from? Harvard.gmail?
Yep. Whoops.
Like, what?
Whoops. Caroline told BuzzFeed in an article they wrote with her, quote, "I think in ways it's unfair that I'm categorized as a rich girl, but I also have a lot of compassion for why people see me that way, because our culture really fetishizes that I, of all people, really cashed in on that fetishization. So I don't begrudge anyone for not taking the time to look into my story more."
Wait, so she claiming she's not rich?
No, she is.
Oh, okay.
She just feels that, like, you like that she's rich. And she acknowledges that.
And she's playing into it.
And she capitalized on it.
Okay, she's Paris Hilton it.
Yeah, she's Paris Hilton it.
Okay, that's fine.
So here's another scam.
Yeah.
Right? So that's happening. Cambridge, blah, blah.
Yeah. But she's scamming British people, so it doesn't count.
Well, she's scamming American girls.
She's scamming American girls, but at the same exact time,
And
she's
Cambridge.
forging documents in England. So that doesn't count.
In 2015, Caroline Calloway signed a book deal with Flatiron Books.
Okay.
For $375,000. Wow. So her idea worked.
Yeah, it did.
She proved that if she could get a big enough social media following, she could get a book deal.
Yep.
And she did.
And she got a book deal.
And the book was supposed to be titled, And Then We Were Like.
Okay.
Because that's how girls talk. And then we were like.
Yeah, I hate it. I hate it.
the first title was actually proposed by her friend Natalie Beach, and that was going to be called Schoolgirl, but it never happened because people felt it was like sexualizing children. Schoolgirl.
Okay. Yeah, I got
So we were like, and then we were like, was what it was supposed to be titled.
I like how you keep saying supposed to be.
So
it makes me very excited.
This book never came to fruition because while this happening, Calloway was reportedly descending into a deep Adderall addiction.
Oh, I thought you were going to say madness.
No, well,
descending into a deep Adderall is just like a different. But like whenever I hear the word descending in a person, they're either descending into a cave network or madness.
So the whole thing is she's also on her Instagram promoting the hell out of this book.
She's never gonna write.
You guys, it's gonna be I'm gonna do this and this, and like every other post, she's talking about this big book deal she got. She's so excited. All of her followers are chomping at the bit to buy this book. They want to know every one of Caroline Calloway's secrets.
Yeah, she's doing good promo and
so
she's
much good
crushing
promo,
barbiturates,
crushing it, just having the time of her life.
Yeah.
In 2017, she pulls out of the book deal, and it was very contentious. It was all over media. Everyone, BuzzFeed and all them were reporting on this book deal falling through. And she owed Flatiron Books 30% of the advance she'd been given. So she owed them $100,000.
Okay.
To try to salvage some funds, she put the book proposal on Etsy and signed the pages and sold it.
Okay.
So this book deal's happening. This Adderall addiction's happening.
Yeah.
It's all falling apart. She owes them money. All the fans are upset because all the fans wanted to buy the book.
Is she still in England?
No, she's back in New York.
Okay.
Now, this all happens. And then in 2018, so we've had a few years. There's a little calm down. She's still posting. People are still following her, but they're like, she's kind of a mess.
Yeah.
She's kind of a,
The story's turned.
The story's turned.
Yeah.
She's not just this young girl in college in Cambridge. She's like this girl that lives in the United States and is like just a little weird and artistic and writes these crazy captions, right? So in 2018, she decides that she is going to throw workshops, in-person workshops, where you could meet with her and do crafts.
Crafts?
And eat salad.
What?
Here we go. I'm going to pull this CBS outline.
Okay.
The saga began in December of 2018 when Calloway first debuted the idea of her workshops on her Instagram stories. She said she wanted to share her knowledge about writing, getting over heartbreak, and building a personal brand and general wellness. The idea quickly snowballed. She collected money for tickets from her fans through an event planning website, Eventbrite, and quickly sold out many of the U.S. tour dates. At that point, Calloway had not booked event spaces, hired photographers, put together care packages, or ordered any of the required supplies. Attendees were meant to get a 4-hour seminar comprised of a session for attendees to meet for coffee and tea with oat milk without Calloway's presence, a homemade salad for lunch, lectures by Calloway, orchid crowns, handwritten letters, and care packages filled with things like notebooks, crystals, and mason jar gardens. Having almost no event planning knowledge, Calloway made error after error. She ordered 1,200 mason jars to be filled with mini gardens for attendees to her West Village apartment, quickly overwhelming the space. She promised homemade salads, but realized cooking for 50 people the night before an event was an impossible task. She tried to hire freelance photographers and videographers for free, only offering to pay them after receiving backlash. She told her followers they wouldn't be receiving the handwritten letters she'd promised because they were taking too long to write. And she ditched the idea of orchid crowns, bringing a few clip-in flowers instead. Calloway admitted she felt overwhelmed. She canceled many dates and also toyed with the idea of moving every workshop to New York City. After online backlash spurred from a thread from a news reporter, Calloway canceled the tour altogether. She documented the entire process on Instagram stories. Quote, "Someday I'm going to earn enough money so I can travel to you with my team and my care packages and my gifts and create the night of fucking quality event I want to create," Calloway wrote on her Instagram stories. She said she would refund everyone who had purchased a ticket. However, the damage was done. It didn't matter. Caroline Calloway, now frequently referred to as a grifter and a scammer, usually mentioned in the same breath as Anna Delvey, Elizabeth Holmes, and Billy McFarland, This pisses her off, as she would tell BuzzFeed later. She never stole money from anyone, and those people are going to jail.
I will say, it's okay to cancel events.
Yeah.
Now, but no, what I will say is that it's incredible to me, like making a promise before of an event,
before booking it,
before booking the venue, is crazy.
Yeah.
Pre-selling tickets on a date or any of that, like, it always makes me so wary.
Yeah.
When I see people do this, and also like the things, like she could have just booked a comedy club to be like, I'm going to be on stage for an hour and we're going to do something that isn't stand up, but I'm going to use that venue.
Yeah.
Done. We're going to do this thing, or like a black box theater, or or a workshop space. Like you could find these spaces. You don't have to feed people.
Yeah.
You don't have to give them a handmade salad is crazy. Yeah. Once you got to Orchid Crown, I'm like, girl, what movie had just come out?
Yeah.
Was Midsommar? Was it Midsommar?
No.
And you decided that you're like, oh, everyone needs an Orchid Crown?
I can say, because I saw some of these posts when they came out. I remember when this happened.
Do you still follow her? Or were you following her at the time? Or you just saw her like on like a snark subreddit?
No, I think in 2018, I just know that I saw the stories coming out about this.
Okay.
Because she was posting on her stories, but it was like she's very impulsive. We'll see as this plays out. She's super impulsive. And so she just says, like, she made a story and she's like, I want to do a workshop. And then the next day she's like, I made an Eventbrite website. Let's buy tickets. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to make Orchid Crowns. Like, and it's like,
it feels like
3
a manic
a.m.
It feels like a manic episode.
Maybe still an Adderall.
Yeah.
And like, just like, and I'm going to do this. And so she just flies by the seat of her pants with everything. And so she was building out and selling these workshops as it was happening, but she documented it live.
Yeah.
Here's me on a speakerphone with a videographer. Here's me ordering 1,200 mason jars, and they all get delivered. And she's showing people her apartment is full of mason jars.
Yeah.
And she has nothing to do with them. Like, it was I don't want to say insane, but it was incredible to witness because it was so chaotic.
Yeah.
And the whole time I remember looking at these stories when they were live and being like, this is going to crash and burn. Because I remember in my brain, I couldn't find a picture of it. No, I couldn't find a screenshot of the story. But I remember a Instagram story of her with a big metal bowl or wooden bowl making a salad and being like, I'm making a salad for tomorrow's event. And it was like a 150 person event. And she's in her apartment in New York making a salad in her little tiny kitchen.
Yeah.
That she is then going to take on a train because I think she was going to like Philadelphia or something. Like, I was like, yo, this is so chaotic.
Yeah.
And it was, you couldn't look away from it because it was just like, this is not going to end well.
Yeah. It's just like, also then lying and saying you have a team while doing all this is crazy. But I just it drives me insane because like one of the worst shows I ever did. Yeah. Was shortly after like my TikTok started blowing up, and this guy I was like reaching out to people. I'm like, hey, I don't know what to do now. The TikTok's blowing up. I think I should get back into stand up. And I got booked on a 420 show. And this guy was like, yeah, we're doing this show. It's 420. It's in a bar that's in the basement of an old church. Like it's no longer a church. Okay. It's now like a bar, and there's a basement bar. But it's a 420 show. It's in Philly. And we're giving away weed. And I was like, what? I don't care. I just need the stage time. Like, I don't care what you're doing on the show. I'm just going to go do it. And I got there, and no part of the show made sense. None. Like, they would have somebody go up and do stand-up, and then they'd play a game. And then he'd give away weed. And then half the audience, they weren't allowed to smoke weed in the bar. So half the audience would then get up and leave and go outside and get high for 25 minutes. And then they'd come back visibly stoned, and it's like, well, now, and then they'd be like, okay, now you go up and tell them jokes. And I'm like, about what? Like, how? Yeah. Like, you had them just play, like, sex dice on stage in front of each other, and then they went outside and got high, and now I'm supposed to talk about my dog? Like, what the fuck are we talking about here? And, like, that moment, I was like, okay, I'm never doing shows like this again. Because I used to do shows like that, like, all the time. It was just like, whatever, we'll do it. I'll fucking get on stage. Yeah. And it's just so crazy that she has, like, this presence, and she has this following and all this different stuff, and it's just having what to me reads as a very clearly manic episode. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, and then we're gonna get an Orchid Crown, and people are just like, fuck it, I'm buying in. But like, But it's also one of those ones where like the number one thing that people, when you're putting on an event, what they want to see is the person they want to see.
Yeah.
And then anything else is a nice little bonus.
Yeah.
What they would want to see, if I was a Caroline Calloway fan, I've been following her since the Harry Potter days, I would have just wanted to see her in person and be like, oh, she's real. And I got a picture with her. That's it.
Yeah.
That's why I do a photo line. It's just so crazy. It's just so crazy to me as a professional performer and now as a social media personality. This upsets me greatly.
So there's also this reporter journalist, I'll say journalist, named Kaylee Donaldson.
Okay. Who
was posting on Twitter and Instagram while this was happening. Because she made this one. It says, that Instagram influencer I occasionally check in on because she's the worst is now charging $165 for a 4-hour seminar on how to be yourself. And she posts $165, and it says it's a scam.
$165,
right? And so Kaylee Donaldson, journalist, was live tweeting and posting Instagram the whole time that this is happening, right? Kind of calling out that like, hey, this is a scam.
That is, hold on. If she had 150 people at one of her things, that is $24,750.
She refunded it.
No, I know. But I'm saying though is like that's what she's expecting to make almost $25,000 gross.
Yeah.
Now that's before, but also just gross. But that's all like before expenses.
Yeah. So that tweet goes viral.
Yeah.
Right. And this snowballed because all of this was happening, like all of her workshop stuff is happening at the same time that the Fyre Fest documentaries came out. So people were like, this is an event scam, right? So like she had just really bad timing. And this devastated Calloway's image, right?
Yeah. Here's the thing. I honestly, from the little bit of information you gave me, I really don't think it was a scam. I think she's just
I also
crazy.
Don't think she was a scam. I think that she was having a mental health crisis situation and didn't understand the heavy lift that it is to put on an event. And because she doesn't know what logistics are.
The fact that she didn't have a venue booked from the get-go.
Yeah.
And because like that's the downside of it. If you, I have a venue. How big's the venue? The venue seats 100 people. Cool. Then you can have anywhere from 1 to 100 people at that event.
Yeah.
Oh, I've sold tickets. How many tickets have you sold? I've sold 150. Okay, well then you need to at least find a venue that can fit capacity of 200.
Yeah.
Like people don't understand that, and like that's harder. It's harder to find a 200 seat place than it is to find 100, and like trying to fit this in different cities and all this different stuff. It's just wild to me. That's why I don't actually believe it's a scam. I think she's just you said.
Yeah. So after this burned her image, right? 2 of Calloway's Caroline Calloway has a lot of dedicated fan accounts. Just like maybe Muppets have fan accounts. There are Caroline Calloway fan accounts. And 2 of her biggest fan accounts changed their handles and stated they no longer wanted to affiliate themselves with a brand we no longer trust or believe in.
Wow.
So she lost her fan accounts. Her 2 biggest ones.
Okay. It's so, again, the internet's such a crazy place.
Yeah.
Like the fact that you can be a fan account of some random person. Like that's just wild. I mean, are any Pyromania fan accounts?
I don't know. Don't ask. Don't even bring that
I've
in.
never even thought to look. I know there's people who pose as me on Facebook.
So that journalist, Kaylee Donaldson, I told you. Yeah. She worked for I forget who she worked for, but she basically made this idea and she said the empty mason jar of the influencer economy. So she wrote this whole article, or I think it was an article or a tweet. I don't even remember anymore. But basically,
she made a post.
Kaylee made a post basically comparing the influencer economy to the empty mason jars in Caroline Calloway's apartment.
Okay.
Right? And I was like, honestly, fair.
It's a good metaphor.
Yeah. But Caroline Calloway, after reading this, began selling t-shirts that read, "Stop hate following me, Kaylee."
Okay. Get it. Get them drop ship shirts.
Oh my God.
Where were the shirts on? Were they on Teespring?
They're probably on Teespring.
Yeah.
Stop hate following me, Kaylee.
That is so.
I also need to note that Kaylee's name is spelled Kayleigh. So that's just so funny.
Yeah.
There's something about Kaylee spelled that way. That's stop hate following me, Kaylee.
Yeah.
I'd wear that shirt.
It is. Honestly, yeah. That is such a it's transcendent. It actually leaves the Caroline Calloway situation and just becomes a for the girls.
For the gals.
It's just for the gals at that point. Everyone has a Kaylee that's hate following them.
Yeah, exactly.
Welcome to the internet. Here's your Kaylee.
Everyone gets a Kaylee. Calloway tried to embrace the scammer title, right? So now she's just going to take the scammer title. She hosted a New York workshop that she called The Scam.
Oh.
And she invited attendees to, quote, come make friends, hang out with me, work on your art, laugh about art, eat salad on the floor, drink oat milk, take photos with flowers in her hair, consider pain, discuss self-love, and be scammed.
Consider pain. Being dropped in near the end is killing me. What's with her and oat milk?
I don't know. I think she wrote oat milk in the first one, so she's just referencing it.
I know.
She's self-referential at all times.
I can tell that. But it's just very funny. I'm surprised she didn't write watch Downton Abbey seasons 1 through 3.
Consider pain.
But consider pain. But it's just very, because honestly, again, you said this is like 2018, right?
Yeah.
The whole oat milk was on its way up then too. It was like a trending thing.
Yeah.
That's just very funny. It's just, I'm starting to like her now. You've taken me from like, at first I was like cringe, whatever, not for me. And then I'm like, oh, she sounds like a bad person. And now I'm like, stop hate following me. Consider pain. I'm like,
be scammed is the closing line.
You know what it feels like? It feels like that moment. Okay. Do you remember how everyone hated Courtney Love?
I remember when all of you guys hated Courtney Love.
Sure. And then Kurt Cobain died, and then she released that album.
Hole, yep.
Hole had that album. And then there was a bit there where like people liked Courtney Love.
Yeah.
I'm in that middle part there.
Yeah.
I feel like she found Kurt's notebook and she's printing songs.
I think I told this in this podcast before. I have one of Courtney Love's bras. I think it's in the attic.
What?
Yeah, one of my friends in high school, her sister moved to LA to like be famous or whatever, but she ended up being a personal assistant for a few years, and she was Courtney Love's personal assistant. And she was doing like a closet clean out for Courtney, and she mailed her sister back home some of Courtney's bras because she knew that like me and her sister and our other friend were all like big fans.
Yeah.
And so we all each got like a Courtney Love bra. So I have one.
Okay. We're going to take a break.
We're going to take a break.
That feels like okay. I need a break.
You need a break?
I need a break now from this reality.
Okay.
So we'll be right back with more about Caroline Calloway. Time to man up and grow some hair. Start seeing your hair grow back in as little as 3 to 6 months with Hims. Hims gets you access to a huge range of hair loss treatments, all without having to leave your house. With clinically proven ingredients, get ready to have a head of hair you love. You don't have to break the bank to have amazing hair with Hims. You don't need insurance, and one low price covers everything from treatments to ongoing care. Start your free online visit today at hims.com/tabs. That's HIMS.com/TABS for your personalized hair loss treatment options. hims.com/tabs. Results vary based on studies of topical and oral minoxidil and finasteride. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website and full details and important safety information.
All right, we're back.
I'm going to say real quick, though,
Okay.
I am disturbed enough that somebody knew you well enough to think you would want a stranger's underwear.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw that. Also, while I'm not a Courtney Love fan,
Yeah.
it has to be insane to be at the level where you're just like, yeah, I hired this person and they're helping me. And then the person's like, I'm going to send stuff to people who want their underwear. And you have to intrinsically trust this person or else you're going to seem insane.
Yeah.
And this is how we get tragic stories.
Okay. Well,
I just
a fun antidote from like the early 2000s.
Yeah. Was it fun?
For Courtney Love, no, because she came out against Harvey Weinstein and she got blacklisted forever.
Yeah.
And that's why people hate her, is because he created negative content around her on purpose, because she called out the fact that he is who he is and he does what he does.
No, I understand that. I completely understand that part. I do understand that part.
Yeah.
But also, I've just never been a fan.
So 2019.
Okay.
We're 1 year after the workshops.
Okay.
The Cut. You know what The Cut is?
I feel like I remember the name.
It was like an internet journalistic website.
Okay, it was a website. Okay.
It was a website.
This is back when you could have like a quote unquote news site that was basically just a blog that could then get sold off to a major paper.
Yes.
Yeah, so like the Ringer.
Was it the Feminista?
Yeah. A lot of those, because a lot of them end up going to places like Gawker or other places, and they started to like put them all together.
So The Cut was one for the gals.
I remember The Cut now.
The she's and the theys and the gals, right? And it was very popular. Okay, it must be said that it was very popular. The Cut was very popular.
Yeah, I remember it.
In 2019, The Cut published a long and now infamous essay by Natalie Beach. Do you know who Natalie Beach is?
I do not know who Natalie Beach is.
Natalie Beach wrote this article, and it was titled, "I was Caroline Calloway. 7 years after I met the infamous Instagram star, I am ready to tell my side of the story."
I was Caroline Calloway.
I was Caroline Calloway.
Okay.
So, in it, Natalie gets right to the point. This is the first paragraph. "When I was a sophomore in college, I took a creative nonfiction workshop and met a girl who was everything I wasn't. The point of the class was to learn to write your own story, but from the moment we met, I focused instead on helping her tell her own. First in notes after workshop, then later editing her Instagram captions and co-writing a book proposal she sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars. It seems obvious now, the way this story would end. But when I first met Caroline Calloway, all I saw was the beginning of something extraordinary."
So she was her ghostwriter.
She was her ghostwriter, and she gets into it in this story, in this article she wrote. But they were like BFF in college.
Okay.
But it was a little one-sided, as sometimes happens.
Yeah.
Quote, "Caroline first took an interest in me after I wrote an essay about growing up in New Haven. Yale was an obsession of hers. She'd been rejected and never got over it. The fact that I was a Yale townie won me an invitation to her West Village apartment, a studio painted Tiffany's turquoise blue and filled with fresh orchids and hardcovers. 'This is my Yale box,' she told me, sitting on her white love seat and showing me a shoebox of Handsome Dan and Beinecke library memorabilia. It was the same day we split a joint that Caroline informed me she told me I was beautiful, which no one outside my family had ever said."
Oh.
Mm-hmm. So this article goes on and on. We don't have enough time to read the whole thing. If you want to read it, it's an incredible read, y'all. Just put in Natalie Beach, Caroline Calloway, The Cut. But so she goes into this whole article and she talks about how during her whole college life, even when Caroline leaves NYU, because they go to NYU together, when Caroline leaves to go to Cambridge, she is still helping her. And like, Natalie is clearly in a one-sided friendship and Caroline is just taking advantage the whole time.
Yeah.
And basically doesn't even pretend, like she doesn't even know she exists. And she puts Natalie in dangerous situations over and over again. She does that thing where like if they go out drinking with like guys that she doesn't know, Natalie doesn't know, Caroline will disappear and leave her with these people.
Yeah.
And then won't answer her phone till the next day. And so like just puts her at risk and danger over and over again. And also like she is writing the captions and so this girl, Natalie, wrote all those crazy captions.
Yeah. She's doing the SEO.
Adventure.
She's doing the SEO. She's the one who invented #AdventureGram.
Yeah, AdventureGram. She's the one that did it. So she like goes into all this and basically
she got Frankenstein monstered.
Yep, she got Frankenstein monstered.
Yeah, because her monster has like gone crazy on her.
Yeah.
That's so wild.
Further in the article, she writes, they're at a tavern, and I told her that her fantasy of going out with our professor was dangerous and predictable. It's like a movie, I said between lettuce wraps. This is Act 1. Soon he'll invite you over to his bachelor pad. Fuck you, and in 5 months you'll read all about it in the New Yorker. Go on, she said. What happens to me next? For the next 2 hours, I ad-libbed the movie of her life. She bought me a pesto minestrone soup and pork belly. You're a genius, she said, and I had no reason to question her. She was building a second version of herself in front of me. And how could I compete with that? That December, for her 21st birthday, I gave Caroline a gift. 3 dinner plates stamped with the Yale crest that my mom had found outside a campus building. I took a Sharpie and wrote "fuck it" on their backs. When Caroline unwrapped the gift, she broke into tears. Real tears. I paused. Was this really that excellent a gift? Had she never received something stupid and personal before? Which is why I was surprised that later that winter, she nonchalantly informed me that the Yale plates had been stolen out of her apartment. Quote, what do you mean they were stolen? I remember asking. Quote, they're worthless, and you live in an apartment filled with Apple products and antique furniture, she told me. It was just plates, and she insisted that her Exeter ring had also been stolen too. It just didn't make sense. Who would steal a bunch of used plates scrawled with permanent marker? It was the first time I felt sure she was lying to me, but I didn't call her out on it. What was I going to do? Torch everything we had over a gag gift? And if she was lying about the stolen plates, then maybe she was lying about the extent of our friendship, or me being a beautiful genius. Even a few weeks later, when I saw her once again wearing her Exeter ring, I didn't say anything.
Oh.
Right?
So she's slowly putting together that Caroline's a pathological liar.
Yes.
Okay.
And, okay, so here, after this article comes out, right?
Real quick, hold on.
Yeah.
Just pause.
Okay, I'm pausing.
Just because I do want to, just because we're in the middle of the fact that there's a ghostwriter and that ghostwriter has never been acknowledged.
Yeah.
We had a researcher for this episode, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And that researcher was?
Sad Beige.
Yes. And who we are is a great person.
Yeah.
And who I just want to be very clear.
Yeah.
Is just like, because I mean, it's just one of those weird things where you see this a lot not you see this. I see this a lot now that I've been moving into like these content creator influencer spaces. Mm-hmm. So like when I went to VidCon, I ended up talking to more of the producers and like the people who work behind the scenes because they're literally like, I don't want to be on camera.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a person who is actually like known. I want to be able to go to the grocery store, all those different things.
Yeah.
And so like there is a place for that, but you just acknowledge that that person exists is enough. Like I think with us and what we do, where like I'm making content, like I've made it clear to a lot of people, and I hope that it's been clear to the people who at least gobble up like at least 50% of our content, is that it's our content.
Yeah.
Is that like there is very few things that get posted where I don't run it past you first.
Yeah. And those ones that make it through, they're only when I'm at the grocery store.
They're only when you're not home.
Yeah. and then I come home and I go, what did you do?
What did you do? And then you look, and usually it's like within like a half hour. You're like, I saw you fucking posted something. But like, you know, we do videos and you're off camera.
Yeah.
The fact that she has this person in her life for 7 fucking years, she's lying to her constantly.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, like denying her existence and like just hiding it. It's that lie of omission. That's so wild.
Yeah.
That's fucking loony too. But then also, like, if this girl is the one writing everything, how come the book didn't get done?
Okay, she gets into that in the article.
Does she?
Yeah. But I'm not going to read the whole thing. But real quick, I just have to tell you something. So when this article came out, this article was a hit.
Yeah.
This article went viral for the time.
Yeah.
And not because of Caroline Calloway. People came into it for Caroline Calloway. But when you read this article, I would say 80% of young women have experienced this, where you have this one friend who's like the manic pixie dream girl.
Yeah.
She has everything at her fingertips. She has money, access, and you want to be her friend.
Yeah.
And you want to be a part of her circle, and she barely acknowledges your existence unless she needs you.
Yeah.
And like the inherent abusive nature of that relationship, but still wanting it. And like the way this woman wrote it, almost every woman that read it was like, I remember being this girl. I remember being this young woman. I had a friend like Caroline. I felt this experience. So like this whole article went viral because it was just so relatable.
Of people who read about articles.
Yes.
That's the other thing too. Is like
back then we did.
Yeah, I'm saying though, but also like you're saying it's a very long article.
Yeah.
There's a certain group of people who will read a very long article.
Yeah.
Who like this is the 80% of them.
Yeah.
It's weird because it's like slivers within slivers within slivers, but it's so, yeah, that's so crazy. Because I'm picturing like when you said the line of she's the first person to ever say I was beautiful.
Yeah.
I was like, yo,
but she's beautiful.
I know, but it's also just outside of my family. That is such a wild thing. And like thinking about that, because I think about that sometimes. Like when we were first dating, you were like, "No, you're really handsome," and I'm like, "No," I just denied it.
Shut up.
I was like, "Nah, that's a lie."
Stop lying to me.
I expect to hear that from my mom, not from you, not from a pretty lady.
She doesn't say that anymore. Now she just says, "Baby's handsome."
Yeah, she says, "Give me the baby." she walks in the door and goes, "Give me my grandson."
We don't even live here anymore.
No.
So here's what happened though. This article goes viral, like I was saying.
Yeah.
The Yale plates became a meme. It became a whole meme. I found an Eater article. You know Eater? People still look at that? I don't know.
I don't know what that is.
Eater was BuzzFeed for food.
Okay.
So this article is from September 13th, 2019. It's titled, "Fuck It, Here's a Post About Caroline Calloway's Yale Plates."
Okay.
Okay. And so the thing that got memeified was the plates.
Got it.
And people were just like, what the fuck? Why did she say they got stolen? Everybody on the internet was talking about the plates along with all of the other stuff that was happening. But the plates really got the meme. Okay. You just need to know that the plates got the meme.
Yeah.
So further in the article, she talks about how they went to Italy together. And she missed this flight, and then she didn't have any money because Caroline, of course, always assumed that everybody has as much money as she did. So when Natalie couldn't afford to take the next flight, she was stranded, and ended up Natalie had to go home because she couldn't go to Milan.
Yeah.
She didn't have enough money to get the rest of the way. It was like so weird. But again, like Caroline didn't think outside of her own means, and then was like, "Yeah, okay, just go home."
Yeah, it doesn't sound like Caroline Calloway has this thing called empathy.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah.
So Caroline ends up paying for her to get back home. She doesn't have any money to go back home, but she knows she can't afford to go to Italy. So Caroline uses her parents' credit card and pays for her to get back to America. In order to repay her, Beach offers to spend the summer editing Caroline's Instagram posts and helping write the book more. There is a point where they have a verbal agreement that Beach is going to help write the book and she will get 35% of the money.
Okay.
Right? But Caroline keeps blowing through the proposal deadline, right? She keeps writing. Caroline hates it all. Caroline's giving her post-it notes with scribbles on it, being like, "I want it to be about this. I need it to be about fairies. You need to add in this context." So like Natalie's trying to write this thing, but she's not able to put together the post-it notes in a good way to make a book. And also she is at Caroline's apartment with her every once in a while doing this. And it's becoming very, very clear that Caroline Calloway is in the throes of an Adderall addiction.
Yeah.
She's up all night ordering antique furniture off eBay. She's like, she wrote in the article that at a certain point she opened a desk drawer to find a pen, and an empty Adderall capsule skittered around like cockroaches exposed in light. The manuscript was due in 6 months, and my notes were just lists of funny British foods. I began to worry. So like, also Caroline Calloway admitted to buying followers to Beach, which worried her that the book deal was made under false pretenses and that they were going to be fucked. So all this stuff happens. The manuscript, the book doesn't go through. And at the end of the day, everybody just is like, Caroline Calloway's a scammer and not a nice lady, but also the Yale plates.
Yeah.
And what was the other one? I had Eater, and also, oh, this is not that funny, but somebody else had okay, so there's another scam that happens here. After all this comes out, Caroline Calloway like posts about it on Instagram, of course, has response videos, of course. She doesn't really do long form content, so again, it's always Instagram stories.
Yeah. I like that. Like she'll have like the posts are like the real things, and then she's like, I need to acknowledge some fuck up. Little story. You have 24 hours to hear my apology.
Yeah, I'm not gonna pin it. And so then Caroline Calloway at a certain point starts making art, right? And I have a picture of it. She starts crafting this art in her home that she's selling to her Instagram followers. Okay. And you can pay, I don't know, a couple $100. I didn't even look up the pricing for this art pieces. She's making them at home, crafting them. Right?
Yeah.
Glue and paper.
While railing Adderall.
Who hasn't been there?
Yeah.
So
I like how because now I know that she's snorting it because you said empty capsule.
Yeah.
Not empty bottle.
Yep.
She's just railing them.
Well, as one does.
Yeah.
Do you know who Matisse is?
I know the name.
Okay. So this is the art she was selling. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. This is the art of Matisse.
Oh, she's straight up Henri Matisse. Yeah, okay.
So this is the Blue Nudes by
Yep.
Henri Matisse.
Yep.
And that was what she was selling. And so she's cutting out these shapes and then gluing them on the paper and sending them out and then she's going to pay cash. The fun fact is if you look at the names of the names of the art pieces, this one's called Yale plates.
Okay, that's funny.
This one's called Cashmere Sweater No Bra, because in the article she talks about how she used to wear cashmere sweaters with no bra.
Yeah. Turn it to me. So that's amazing. That's taking back the SEO. Much like naming an episode of our show, Pearlmania 500 Controversy.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that it's the top reply. That's very, very funny. But also, yeah, this is so fucking good. Oh my God.
But I want to tell you something also that I found very interesting. Caroline Calloway starts making these, right?
Yeah.
And everybody's just like, yo, that's just Matisse. Like, you're just making Matisse. And she's like, I'm an art historian and I'm referencing. Like, she knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
But she's saying it's referential art. So that makes it a whole new type of art. Okay, duh. The thing is, though, because of Caroline Calloway, Matisse had a resurgence.
Yeah.
And to the point where, like, the Blue Nudes were getting sold in, like, Urban Outfitters. And every Instagram person, every YouTuber had a blue nude in their background for like a whole year because she had brought it back to the zeitgeist. She brought Matisse back to the zeitgeist by copying it, which I just thought was so crazy.
She's girl Trump.
Sorry.
What? Is that too much? Was that too on the nose?
Oh.
Because that's how Trump works. Girl Trump.
Girl Trump. Here's a quote from a BuzzFeed article about this art. The entire time we're talking, Caroline was working on this artwork, gluing the pieces together and making bookmarks to go in packages. Is Caroline Calloway actually selling this art, which is either inspired or ripped off from Matisse, depending on your view? She makes on her floor with materials from the craft store. It seems she is. There were at least 20 paintings packaged up for sale at the end of the day. Caroline proudly showed me they were headed all over the world. Amsterdam, Norway, Oklahoma City, and right down the street in NYC. She told me she is currently selling enough of her artwork to support herself, but not making her rich. As she told me, she can't afford right now to fix her air conditioner, so she's just hoping the fall weather comes soon.
Okay, sure. Sure, I believe that.
Well, she has to play that she is like
the starving artist. I know that.
Yeah.
It's just like I can picture right now that she just goes over and she's like, I'll just turn the air conditioner off. It doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
I just feel like that's such a lie from her.
I love it.
It's incredible.
Do you want to take a break?
No, we're actually good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know. So, okay, let me see. She ends up saying she's going to write another book. Okay.
She's going to write another book. Okay.
This one she is going to call Scammer.
She's going to call the book Scammer.
She's going to call the book Scammer.
She's leaning in.
She's like, hey, I'm going to call this book Scammer.
Okay.
It's available for pre-order.
I would never give her money for anything that wasn't
if
already in hand.
If she has the word pre-order, don't do it.
No, it's also one of those things where, like, you know, when they're holding a hostage, and they're like, give me the money and I'll release the girl. It's like, no, you release the girl and I'll give you the money. It's
wait, I forgot something. Oh my God, I forgot something.
Yeah.
While she's telling everybody she's going to write this book called Scammer about her life.
Yeah.
Autobiography about her life. She also starts selling bottles of homemade facial oil.
Oh. No.
Yeah.
Don't. Okay.
Snake oiling it up. On her Instagram, she's selling bottles of facial oil for $75 a bottle. Okay. But then also, she's hustling. She's making money. She's selling some snake oil. She also creates an OnlyFans account.
No.
In her words, she calls it Only Scams.
Okay.
Where people could pay $50 to access her, quote, cerebral softcore porn. Which were photos of her topless, cosplaying as Dagny Taggart from Atlas Shrugged.
What? Wait, she's an Ayn Randian? She's into Ayn Rand? She's an objectivist? Why is every fucking psychopath into these goddamn books? Hold on. No, you got to give me a minute. You can't just fucking drop softcore only scams and Rand on me.
Mm-hmm. Say that again?
Softcore only scams and Rand? It's fucking... What the fuck? I hate you. I'm so mad.
Okay, guess what, though? I got great news. Using her Only Scams account, where she did a cerebral softcore porn dressed as Atlas Shrugged characters, which is cosplay for the gods, honestly, she made enough money that she paid her publisher back for that book advance.
No!
Because this whole time, she has been getting the books. People were being really litigious and trying to get their fucking money back.
Because they need a fucking $100,000 plus interest.
So she made the Ayn Rand Only Scams to pay back the book publisher so that she could get another publishing deal to try to make a different book.
I am so furious right now. Oh my God, just self-publish an ebook, you fucking psycho.
No, it doesn't count.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Imagine going with a literary agent. Yeah, I want to publish my book. What's it called? Scammer. What's it about? How I scammed my last book publisher. I love it.
What a pitch.
I love it.
So she announced.
Also, can I tell you, I like that I actually, not knowing who this lady is, I followed the exact same timeline of all of her fans. Where there's a minute there, I was like, it's not really for me. Honestly, that's kind of interesting. You know what? Honestly, I think she's pretty cool. Yo, fuck this lady. She did what? How is she still... She's the president now?
Yeah. So she announces the book is going to be shipping in spring of 2020. Okay?
Oh, yeah. Famously, things got shipped during spring of 2020.
That date got bumped several times.
Okay, but she had an excuse.
Yeah, there was a whole panorama.
Yeah, the plandemic.
So... There's a glimmer of hope in October of 2021 when customers received an email saying that their copies of the book had shipped. But Calloway informed them that the notification was an accident and her assistant had, quote, hit the wrong button.
Oh, her assistant.
Yeah.
I love it.
So
I love that. She should just be a congressperson.
Literally?
She's so good at blaming an unnamed staffer.
I'm going to pull up my other Google document real quick.
Okay.
I'm going to show you an image.
Okay.
It might not be appropriate to show to the camera.
Okay.
You let me know.
Okay, you show me.
Okay. What do you think of this?
Okay. That is...
Describe it.
That is a person in a bikini.
It's a bikini shot.
Yeah, it's a very...
From the neck down, neck to knees.
Neck to knees.
No head.
Yeah.
Neck to knees, no head. String bikini.
Yeah.
That's a very specific type of bikini, a string bikini.
Yes.
Would you say scandalous? It's a little scandalous, right?
I mean, I'm not going to show it on camera just because it just feels, I don't want a screenshot of me holding up a headless bikini picture.
Yeah, that makes sense. I want to read you the caption. This is her Instagram. She's good at Instagram captions.
Oh, this is her Instagram.
This is a picture of Caroline Calloway she posted to her Instagram.
Oh.
It says, 4 weeks ago to the day I found out my dad died. 5 days ago, I found out that he committed suicide.
Wait, time.
I am sexy and sensual and grief-stricken and shrewd and zany and romantic and generous and imaginative and manipulative and reckless and ambitious and good. I have generalized anxiety disorder and chronic depression, and I used to be addicted to Adderall. I'm fantastic with words, and I refuse to let the world force me into being any smaller than the messy whole of who I am just because some parts of me seem confusing or contradicting or inconvenient. They are. Humans are. Period.
I asked you to stop.
No, you had to have the whole thing.
I asked you.
4,000 likes.
Okay. How many followers does she have now?
I don't know. I did not check.
I'll pull it up.
Okay.
But I just my dad killed himself a month ago.
This is how she announced her father had passed away via suicide with bikini picture.
It's fucking okay.
And that was in 2022. Ba-ba-ba.
Oh, she has a check mark.
Of course she does.
Goddamn. 675,000.
Yeah.
Followers.
Ebbs and flows. Don't watch any of her stories.
This is incredible. No, not that. Her bio says writer. No, not that one. The other writer. The one you love. And then it's just a series of emojis. I'm obsessed.
So that's how she announced to the world that her dad had committed suicide.
Yeah.
Was with a sexy bikini picture with her face not in it. Okay. And I had to read it to you that way. I'm sorry.
You did. You really boomed me.
Mm-hmm.
You boomed me pretty hard.
By the spring of 2023, the memoir was still nowhere to be seen, but the price had increased to $65.
$65 for her book?
Yeah. It was unclear whether Calloway's customers believed that they were paying to get the book or participate in some type of performance art.
I feel like it's performance art.
One of my friends pre-ordered Scammer several months ago. I asked him why. Quote, "My deep fascination with Caroline often transcends my financial instincts," he said.
There's something very odd here. I'm noticing. Scrolling through.
Well, we're on an audio podcast.
I know. I'm telling you though. I'm noticing that's very odd.
What's so odd?
In her thing, there's a jump here.
Yeah.
On her Instagram.
I'll tell you why. Stop looking at it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You're jumping ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry I jumped ahead.
She starts promoting her book because the book's gonna come out. Okay. She does a follow-up piece that gets published in The Cut.
Okay.
In 2023.
Okay.
The place where she got burned, right?
Yeah.
To promote her upcoming book, actually Natalie noted that after the initial publication of her essay, things got weird and flattened online. Quote, "Are you a Caroline or Natalie?" asked a BuzzFeed quiz. They made BuzzFeed quizzes. Are you Natalie or are you Caroline?
Yeah.
Which is why I think that the thing says that writer, know the one you like, not Natalie Beach, Caroline Calloway. You know what I mean? Natalie says she took the quiz and was relieved to learn that she was still herself.
That's amazing. But also, it's insane that they took that and then made it into, number one, a BuzzFeed quiz, which of course they did. But also that it becomes just an archetype.
Yeah.
It's not that this is a story of a bad person. It's like, this is a possibility. You're allowed to pick it.
Yeah.
Being this type of hard monster.
Also, the book got published, right?
It did?
Yeah.
Okay.
She self-published.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
In an article published by the Harvard Crimson in March 2024, I'm going to show you the picture, and this is the caption. It says, "Caroline is a scammer, at least in narrative, but she's no Elizabeth Holmes or Anna Delvey. What she isn't stealing money or any other exhaustible resource. She's stealing attention. And are you not entertained?"
See, the thing is actually, I would argue that is bad too, because she's stealing time.
Yeah, she's stealing time.
She's stealing time, and we live in an attention economy.
Yep.
And like that's the thing is like a few people have pointed out, like we were talking about before about the blue sky bots that show up who just all it does is just say whatever you say the opposite of.
Yep.
And starts to try to fights. It's stealing time and attention from you so you don't put it elsewhere. And I would argue that her scam, her attention scam, is just as bad.
Yeah.
As not in the grand scheme of things, not as bad as like Holmes.
Yeah.
I don't remember what Anna Delvey did. I just knew it was a bunch of scams. I just don't remember.
She like stole from rich people, right? I don't really know.
How is that a crime?
I don't know.
But
they're shooting them in the street these days. Look out.
Listen, watch out. But the United Healthcare CEO.
Okay, no,
just in case people wonder what the hell we're talking about. It happened like a couple hours before we started recording.
Yeah.
The listen, people could be listening to this 3 years from now, and they'll be like, "What rich people are being shot in the street?"
CEOs.
CEO, United Healthcare, and they still had the meeting.
They still had the meeting. That's how little y'all.
That's how little anybody matters to it. The CEO of the company got shot in front of the building they were going to hold the meeting at.
Yeah.
And they still held. They just cut an hour from the meeting. They still started at 8. But anyway, but no, she's taking time and attention from people that should be focused elsewhere. There was an article I read years and years ago talking about how the human brain can only remember like 150 people at a time.
Yeah.
That's about as big as our brain can handle for the like clans and villages and the primordial amount that we could grow up with. And now as television appeared, we stopped caring more about our neighbors because we had to care about like, the Kennedys or Dick Van Dyke or these different characters on the TV started to fill a slot.
Yeah.
And now with social media, there are all these people.
My brain is just full of Caroline Calloway.
And that's why I want to thank all of our listeners who have allowed us to fill one of those slots.
We're excited to be one of the little notches.
Just a little notches in your brain
curve.
Yep. Thank you so much for having a parasocial relationship with two voices that sit in your brain and say, no. You don't need to remember your aunt's name. That's your uncle's wife.
Yeah, uncle wife. I don't know.
Yeah.
So then the other note I have here is a really weird rabbit hole. And if you are a listener who already knew about Caroline Calloway, this could be really interesting for you to go down this rabbit hole. We don't have time to go deep into it, but there's like this whole Reddit shit because she has a snark page, as does everyone.
Yeah, anyone of her size.
And so she has this Reddit snark page, and people have been tracking it for a long time and writing on it. And there was a certain point where she did a video with Vice, and she made like a post on her own snark subreddit and was like, I'm Caroline Calloway, AMA, here's my cell phone number. Text me on my thing. And she just did that. And then on this Vice episode of like YouTube, people started texting her on her phone, and she started calling them. Everybody that texted her, she called them and said, hi, this is Caroline. Why don't you like me? Please explain.
Honestly, art. That's art.
It's crazy.
That's art.
It was crazy.
That's performance art.
Performance art. But the other thing on Reddit that was crazy is somebody found what I'm sure are sock puppets that were created by her, so that like she's commenting on Reddit or whatever.
Sock puppet accounts.
Sock puppet accounts. And there's somebody on the internet here that's on the Reddit Internet Mysteries that's done like a huge breakdown of this, what they believe is a sock puppet that she created, or 3 sock puppets that she created, and how they interact with each other. And the one that's so funny, one of these alleged sock puppets went onto a snark called Small Bean Snark and started posting over the course of a long time all of these random articles, right? Just posted on this snark page, different articles. One was like, cruise ship worker reveals what it's like in isolation at sea. The other was, I can't answer my daughter's questions about COVID-19, right? And somebody started to sort them by new, and it spells out Carolyn from each post.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's definitely a deep rabbit hole that exists if you have time to go down the Reddit rabbit hole that is kind of like, because she's engaging with it.
Yeah.
And it's weird.
Well, it's also one of those things where, and I've actually thought about this.
Go ahead.
I've thought about this because I think it was an Australian prime minister or a Canadian prime minister. There's one of them who was his own enemy.
Yeah.
You know about this?
You have to have an enemy.
No, I'm saying, but he used to write under a pen name about him. I think it was like in the 1800s.
Yeah.
Or early 1900s. He would write in a pen name op-eds about how he was a terrible prime minister.
Mm-hmm.
And it was himself.
Yeah.
And like, that's so crazy.
I write all the mean things in your comment section about you.
I know. That's just...
And I'm like, your hair's not that shiny and luxurious.
Okay, we're going to end the episode.
It absolutely is. But to be clear, what I'm saying is the articles, when they were put in order, said, cruise ship worker reveals what it's like to isolation. Anteater mammal. Review. Orville Redenbacher's classic popcorn. So the first letter spelled out Carolyn, right?
Yeah.
So like there's something here. We don't have a lot of time for it.
Yeah.
But if you are interested in going down a weird little rabbit hole, it exists. A bizarre rabbit hole, really. Okay. I'm going to close it out with this.
Okay.
We're in the present day. We've
day.
made it. 2024. Somehow we've all fucking made it here. And I'm going to tell you why something is probably missing from her grid. Because in October of 2024, Caroline Calloway made news again because she had left New York. She moved out of New York a long time ago. She moved to where? Florida.
Of course
she had
did.
what? A condo. A beachside condo.
Okay.
It's beautiful. In October of 2024, she decided that she was going to ride out Hurricane Milton rather than evacuate with a Category 5 hurricane. You know, the one where meteorologists were crying on TV.
Yeah.
So she decided, no, I'm going to stick it out. And she felt it was an opportunity to cash in, right? So she started a hurricane diary on her Instagram stories and regular posts. And it began, quote, "I promise I'll get to the hurricane stuff. But first, I just want to take a moment to appreciate how rare it is that I'm even writing this, and how special it is that we can gather together like this inside my sentences. In The Spectator, a place that is famously way more boring and well more respected than my social media or my books. Although the Washington Post did call Scammer, quote, a masterpiece, and the New Yorker did say that, quote, Scammer is funny, engaging, and full of genuine insight, which it is. What I would like my tombstone to say when it's finally my time to go. If I actually die in the storm, my books are going to go way up in price. So order now."
That's incredible. Oh, girl. Okay, promo, call to action. Got it. Yes.
This is what I'm saying. There are people that are promoing and calling to action.
Yes, and you can promo and call to action.
And this is the post she put that on. You can see the condo because she's like, oceanside condo.
Yeah,
it's her holding her book
in front of her big glass door window. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. On the afternoon of October 10th. Caroline Calloway texted a journalist from Vox, quote, "I lived, bitch."
Okay. I'll give her that.
She posted a screenshot of the same proof of life selfie and message on her Instagram story the morning after Hurricane Milton made landfall. We'd spoken one day earlier about Calloway's decision to not evacuate for the monster of a storm, as well as to post about it. That's her choice on social media. And at one point, I asked her if she thought she was going to die. And her response was, "Someday. We all are."
Okay. I'll give her that.
It was a really hard choice to stay or to go, and I didn't make it lightly, she told me. But, you know, if I can be of service in terms of entertainment on the internet, so be it.
Incredible.
That's where we are right now.
That brought us up to today. Oh, my God. How many times do you think she voted for Trump?
All of them.
I think every possible chance.
All of the times.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. Or actually,
I don't think she did. She had to register
I feel like
vote.
she didn't. Yeah, she just doesn't vote. She just doesn't vote. Oh, my God. All right.
That's who Caroline Calloway is.
Well, I hate everything about this.
Are you sure? Because it seemed like you had a great time.
I did have a good time.
There were ups, there were downs.
There were movements.
T-shirts.
There were definitely movements.
There were definitely movements.
You know what? I will say that she is the internet.
She is the internet.
She is
a reflection of us.
She's a reflection of the internet and the times.
Yeah.
I think that there are some people who are just like, they are an embodiment of the times. She definitely nailed a very specific type of BuzzFeed-esque scammer. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. And again, I don't really know how much of a true scammer she is. I think she's a bad person.
Yeah.
I will say that I think she's a bad person. But I don't know how much of a true scammer or grifter I would lean into, rather than the fact that like everything, for the most part, most of what she's done has been like legal and the terms of service. Yeah. I think it's more along the lines that there's no rule that says a dog can't play basketball. Mm-hmm. And then she's like, we'll try.
Yeah.
And she just does it, and it makes just enough that then they're like, well, now we banned it. And they're like, well, now we can't do it. And then everyone else gets mad. Like, well, now we can't do it because of Caroline.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I feel she's at.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. But yeah, okay. Well, with that and her call to actions to buy her book, I want to give a little call to action to all our Patreons who are already members, because we have a lot who just joined.
Yeah.
Especially a lot who joined because of ACOTAR, ACOWAR, and ACOMUMF, and all of them together. So we're going to greet a lot of our new listeners after this quick break.
Give them shout outs.
We're going to give them shout outs. We're going to drop some more lore in there. And just remember, if you were in the Philadelphia region, you can see me open for Doogie Horner on 1219. Remember to
go to his Instagram for more information.
Like, review, subscribe, all those different things. Hit us down there in the bottom, and we'll be right back with our shout outs.
Pearlmania, 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 500.net.
Here we are.
We're
back.
Shout outs.
We haven't done some shout outs in a very long time.
We had a lot of books to get through, a lot of fairies, a lot of horny action, a lot of war.
There was a lot of things that you were just describing.
Yep.
and a lot happened with all of them. And so I'm really glad just to be here again with you and to be here with our 35 shout outs that we have.
There's a lot of shout outs.
It's been really cool. It's been honestly seeing the growth over on Patreon and seeing everybody's been enjoying stuff and more ideas that we have coming for future stuff and future tiers.
Yeah, it's fun.
Has been really cool. So let's go ahead and start off with Lindsay McCargo.
Hey, hon.
After that, we have Prawl Dog with a star.
Hey, hon.
After that, we have Masterpiece or Menace. Masterpiece or Menace. It was all one word.
Yeah, nice. Hey, hon.
After that, we have Madame Ooze.
Madame Ooze?
Madame Ooze.
That's a pretty cool roller derby girl name.
After that, we have Slut for More Content.
And
hey, welcome.
Content.
Welcome to the content.
Welcome to the content farm.
After that,
We're going to get milked. Got him.
You did get that message.
Got him.
We got to bring McQuarius back.
I know we got to bring Milquarius back.
Yeah, Milquarius has to come back to explain pasteurization is just boiling.
If I have to be the spokesperson for Big Milk, you know we're fucking.
If you
cooked,
listen, I don't care about that. I think just being the spokesperson for fucking boiling.
Why?
This it.
But why should I?
Because then
Let
they can
them drink
jump.
that
No,
milk.
because it can jump.
It can jump.
Yeah, so like somebody gets a bacterial infection from raw milk, right? That can then, mutate inside them and then become a bigger issue for the rest of us.
So we got to stop them from drinking this gosh
it's not so much.
milk.
We have to try.
Fine.
But not too hard.
People listen to our podcast know to drink pasteurized milk products, right?
Well, I mean, listen, anyone who loves us or Caroline Calloway knows oat milk is the way.
I can't drink oat milk. It gives me tummy ache.
I know. So thank you, Slut, for more content. After that, we have Mint the Doggo.
Hey, hon.
After Mint the Doggo, we have Sarah Prescott.
Hey, hon.
Then we have Bill Weiss.
Hey, Bill.
Hey, Bill. Then we have White Tigress.
Hey, hon.
Then we have Bedelia.
Hey, hon.
Just Bedelia.
I like that.
Next, we have our first underscore.
Oh, let's go.
Hobasar underscore of underscore the underscore north.
Hobasaur?
Hobasaur.
Nice. Hey,
Hobasar?
Huh.
It's like a hobo that's a dinosaur.
A hobosaur.
Hobosaur. After that, we have Molly Bailey.
Hey, Molly Bailey.
This one has some heart emojis.
Love that.
And then it says Idaho underscore potato underscore puppy underscore love.
I love puppies and potatoes.
Yeah, no, that's our whole thing.
That's like my whole thing.
That is your whole
Hey,
thing.
hon.
After that, we have Nicole H.
Hey, hon.
After that, we have Chelsea Westenberger.
Hey, hon.
You know what? Let's try that again. Chelsea Westenberger.
It's very good.
After that, we have James Duffy.
Hey, hon.
Then we have Chris Matherly.
Hey, hon.
Okay, this next one has like Russian letters in it.
Perfect. I love that for
So
you.
you're just going to get Beppa Cap.
Beppa Kappa.
Because it looks like Beppa Kappahoba.
Nice.
But I know that's...
Just say Beppa.
Beppa?
Beppa?
Beppa? B-E-P-A?
Like Boopa de Becco?
Boopa de Beppo. My favorite place on earth?
Big meatball.
Booka de Beppo.
All right, no more of that for you.
No? All right, next we have guess underscore my underscore anonymous underscore uniform.
Guess my anonymous uniform. I like a one-piece jumpsuit, like a janitor jumpsuit.
Ooh, that's a good
I fuck
one.
with that hard.
I like that one too. That's a pretty good one. I never had to wear one of those. I always had to wear polyester pants and then a button-down shirt with a clip-on tie because I was a mall security guard.
I had to wear a mini dress for like 5 years.
Got it. Up next, we have dots underscore pretzel underscore queen.
Pretzel queen, hey hon.
And then, you know what? Hold on.
I see a long one coming up.
That's for the pretzel queen.
Yeah.
Up next, this is a very long with a lot of underscores.
Got it.
Are you ready for it? Joining underscore at underscore the underscore hun underscore tier underscore as underscore a underscore fed underscore because underscore elons underscore dumbass underscore doge underscore will underscore probably underscore get underscore rid underscore of underscore the underscore archaeology underscore department underscore for underscore the underscore forest.
Yeah. The Doge. Doge isn't great. Doge isn't great.
Yeah, the department. It's not even a department. First thing, it's a blue ribbon committee.
Yeah.
Because to be a department, you then have to have Senate oversight according to our Constitution. So it is just going to be an annoying thing that's going to annoy people.
Yeah.
Hopefully create a bunch of infighting.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be super annoying. So to anybody who is currently a federal employee.
We love you.
We
are grateful for your service.
Thank you for your service. All that being said, if you feel like you have to walk away, we understand.
Yeah.
We do understand.
Of course.
But if you can stick out, I want to just point you to the malicious compliance subreddit.
Oh my God.
And just,
oh my God.
Because I would point that way, point you in that direction. Talk to your union reps if you are in a union. If you work for like the Department of Labor, or maybe you know somebody in the Department of Labor, learn what it takes to get you fired.
Yeah.
And I would just really lean into it, buddy.
Yeah.
Really lean in. Just feel the DMV of it all.
The PGW, that's the Philadelphia Gas Works.
Yeah. Just lean in and be like, you can't fire me. You have the wrong form. And then just stare through them.
Yeah.
So a big shout out to our friend at the Archaeology Department of the Forest.
Honestly, that sounds incredibly cool.
After that, we have the _Wyverary.
Hey, hon.
Wyverary?
So
right. A few people said that. I say wyvern. They're like, it's wyvern.
Okay.
I was like, whatever.
I am in no place to talk about pronunciation, so I don't.
After the Wyverary, we have Caleb.
Hey, Caleb.
After that, we have every _single _ad _was _BetterHelp _save _me.
Okay. See, this is why you join the Patreon, so you don't get ads, because your ads are likely going to be BetterHelp.
Yeah, and we never really mentioned it. A while ago, we did actually switch our carrier for who the podcast is carried on for the non-Patreon members. So you actually might be getting wilder ads than you used to.
Yeah.
So that's totally a possibility.
Yeah.
So the ads are just going to get worse. Join the Patreon.
Oh my God.
After that, we have abs.
Hey, abs?
Just abs.
Don't have those. Hey, hon.
But you can get abs.
No.
With Stacker 2.
No.
Remember Stacker 2?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Gas station pills?
Yeah, Anna Nicole Smith. After that, we have Samantha Griffin.
Hey, hon.
After that, we have Just Julie.
Hey, Julie.
After that, we have Joe Bauer. Now, Joe Bauer sent me a message.
All right.
Because Joe Bauer actually sent us a P.O. Box item almost a year ago.
Oh, really?
They were the one who sent us the pouches, and one was Sonic, and one was like a Galaxy.
Oh,
they were really nice.
bags, yeah.
And so their actual internet name is Sewing Nerd Studios. I looked them up. They have an Etsy store that's currently on break. However, Sewing Nerd Studios is on Instagram. It's a fun little page. Go check it out.
Yeah.
And then maybe when they reopen their Etsy store, if you see something there you like, you can either message them or whatever. That's just kind of, I just want to point you in their direction.
I use my Galaxy bag for all of my nail polishes.
Yes, you
so
do.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I have the Sonic bag is over there in my Sonic shrine.
The Sonic shrine. We don't speak of that.
We don't speak of the Sonic shrine. After Joe Bauer with Sewing Nerd Studios, we have Cat Mafia Leader. It's like a mafia leader.
Okay, here's me out. Cat Mafia Leader.
Hear me out.
Okay.
Hear me out. Hear me out.
It would be impossible to be a cat mafia leader.
Because you'd be herding cats.
You can't herd cats.
How are you going to lead cats?
Come on. You come to me on this day of my daughter's wedding.
After Cat Mafia Leader, we have Melody Aureli.
Hey, hon.
After that, we have Samantha Evans.
Hey, hon.
Then we have Emma McGill.
Emma McGill, hey, hon.
How you doing, Emma McGill? Then we have here _for _horny _fairy _book _all _about _Nesta. Please and thank you.
Oh, I say.
Because again, I'm being bullied. They really want me to read more. I know. I looked. It's been about. I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys a hint. They've been about 6 months apart.
Yeah.
It's been about 6 months apart for each of the books.
That's kind of how it's.
That's how, because it usually takes me about 3 months to mentally get over.
To heal.
And then it's about 3 months of be like, I'll get it, and then I look at it, and then I'm like, and I'll start, and then I stop. And then eventually I make a declaration to Mrs. P, and then somehow we've hit the 6 month mark.
Yeah.
We have 2 left. Let's hear it for Ashley Blakemore.
Hey, hon.
And finally,
closing it out,
we have Sam Mabry.
Hey, Sam.
Hey, Sam. And that's been all of our new Patreon members.
Thank you all so much for your support.
Thank you,
We appreciate it. And we hope you enjoy all the content we make for Patreon.
Yeah, and thank you for everybody who's been following us as well on YouTube. I forgot to even mention I did a live stream over the weekend. Oh my God,
he's a live streamer now, y'all.
I'm not doing it all the time.
Live streamer.
But if you subscribe to the YouTube, you could get it and hit that bell notification.
Yeah.
You could get a heads up of when I'm actually live streaming, so then you can hop in the chat and I try to interact with it.
Yeah.
And I've been having fun. I'm learning. I'm figuring out more stuff. We're trying to figure out future content to bring to you guys. Again, this is our penultimate episode before the season finale.
Yeah.
Not the series. And so, Mrs. P, what should they put in the comments?
Oh.
What's our comment this week, Mrs. P?
Is it Yale plates?
Yale plates?
Yeah.
I think Yale plates is correct. YALE
Yale
plates. Yale plates. Let's hear it. This has been an episode. We've all learned about a terrible person. And we're all better for it, right, Mrs. P?
I feel better.
I feel better. You feel better. We all feel better. And with that, thank you to all of our listeners. We will see you next week.
Have a great week, y'all.
For another episode of Too Many Tabs.
Too many frauds and too many scammers that we wish weren't real. Too many cons and too many spammers, and we're starting to feel like we've got too many tabs open. It's too many tabs. Remember to smile.